This is Stamper and
Hi, I'm Tom. Thank you for coming out this morning.
the real Tom.
Yes.
Woo!
Creator of the Newgrounds.org.com.
Newsgrounds.com.
Newsgrounds.com.
Are we allowed to start yet or no?
Yeah, should we just start or should we wait?
What is it? What are they gonna do? Tell the principal?
Well, it's gonna be like warm up, right?
Yeah.
All right.
I think there actually is a principal, like technically that is there.
This is the polite foreplay.
Yeah.
Get to know each other.
Yeah. And Spaz Kid, everybody.
I'm a little early drunk.
What?
Is that the microphone?
What would you say?
That's exciting.
So here's a question: how familiar are you guys with like the 20-year history of the site?
Really?
Excellent, excellent. So we were debating how much to spend on history and how much to just spend on the Q&A. So if people like Q&A, we'll probably just mostly do Q&A. But I'll give you guys the brief history while we wait for people to come in. So basically, in 1995, I got internet access at my house, and I set up a web page on my free web hosting and made games where you click pictures of seals to club them and pick celebrities to shoot them, and
He
basically
was very angsty.
yeah, I was an angsty teenager, but that's all you could do on the web. Like the web was very point and click back then, so all you could do was basically make a page where you click things to load pictures, and
That sounds like rapid fire.
Sorry. All right. Continue.
so by 1998, Flash came along, and I saw like a website with like a Flash interface and was like amazed by it. So I downloaded Flash and started making Flash games where you like, shoot celebrities and stuff, and that became popular. So I just kind of kept making ridiculous Flash games until in 1999 I had a part of the site called the Portal where I dumped kind of unfinished projects. But there was also people that were making Flash that didn't have their own websites. Couldn't, like if you had something that was popular online back then, usually you couldn't afford the hosting for it. So people would email me their files and I'd dump them in the Portal as like the place to show other people's stuff. But that started growing in popularity where every day people were emailing me stuff. So in 2000, I hired my friend Ross and we made an automated version of that system. So it became the first real-time upload system for games and movies on the web, and we were real loose about it. We didn't want to censor people or be like a gatekeeper for people. So
Thank God.
yeah, so we just let it be like the Wild West, and that's sort of how Newgrounds, as everyone knows it today, was born.
There used to be a porno section.
Yes, there used to be that too.
Damn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay.
I have a question. So, like, when did you start this? How old were you?
I guess 17.
17. Jesus fuck. So you're 17 years old and you're like this internet rebel rock star creating games about shooting celebrities in the face and
When I was 17,
jizzing on teachers and stuff.
when I was 17
Yeah.
and I wanted to make a game,
Are you gonna finish my question?
I would steal people's games and change the sprites.
You were a jerk.
I didn't profit off it, but
So
that's
you were 17, right?
Uh-huh.
So did you like go to like cons and stuff when you were 17?
No, I lived in Percy, Pennsylvania, and didn't go anywhere. Like back then, CES was the big convention, and I entered a game design contest and a fanzine where the prize was a bunch of like paper from CES, like all the flyers and magazines that you collect at CES, and they sent that to me, and I like cherished that. Like it was like Christmas when like all the CES garbage showed up at my house.
The real reason I asked that question was whether or not at some point during your career you were like getting women were just throwing themselves at you like all the time? Like, is that how you met your wife? Like, she was dressed as Chun-Li, and like,
No.
you were like, "Damn, girl, you got that Chun-Li shit going on. Let's make some babies."
Yeah, I somehow bypassed that part of.
Oh, okay. You
part
missed
of
out.
things. Oh yeah. So other topic is in 2003, Dan Paladin and I and Dan's friend John, my friend John too, now, but we formed the Behemoth, and we made a console version of our web game Alien Hominid, and we're woo yeah woo yeah. And back then it was kind of unheard of that like an indie game got on console. So we really like pushed through some hurdles for that to happen. And then when Xbox Live Arcade came along, we did a Live Arcade downloadable of Alien Hominid and then followed it with Castle Crashers, which was yeah. So that's that was one of the big hits on Xbox Live Arcade. Now the Behemoth also has Battle Block Theater and Game 4 in the works. And I'm also working on an unannounced game with Johnny Utah from Newgrounds, who's in the audience. Over there with the hat. And Spaz Kid too. And that's exciting. And hopefully you'll be hearing these guys' voices and stuff when the time comes.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yay! Yeah. So yeah. So
Questions?
Any questions? You right there. Yes. Yes. Still have the office. Do you live around there? Okay. Oh, cool. Nice. Yeah, like right now you can find them if you browse by like category, but we need better date range browsing. So right now you can go by date and just go back in time, and you can go back to like the very first game that was ever uploaded, and you can browse by genre, so you can view like every puzzle platformer, you know, in order as they were uploaded. But we would like to have more, you know, date specific browsing, so you can actually look at like a specific year and rank that year. We have like a history section that does highlight the best of each year. That's in the wiki area. So that's a good way. If you know something was a hit that year, there's a decent chance that it's in the history section. Did you have thoughts on other ways that you'd like to be able to find? Yeah, we actually do have tags now. We didn't before, but I don't know, for the past 4 years maybe. Like we do have tags, and you can search by tag and filter. So yeah, maybe they're hard to spot sometimes, but yeah, they're in there. Oh, right there. Sure. So it all goes back to like my early childhood. One day my dad turned on National Geographic, and there was like they were actually showing seal clubbing on National Geographic, and my mom told him to change the channel, but he didn't. And then I watched as like a seal got clubbed, and it like really made me upset. Like I really do love animals. That's like a big important thing to note. Like I do love animals. So I think that just inspired me. Like when the web came along, it was just like, what's something horrific I can make, and that was like the top of my list.
The first thing you did was, how can I make other people as
Yeah.
upset as I was?
I kind of like, I think the way I looked at it was like everything I'd ever seen had been curated through like the television system, like Hollywood and advertisers and everyone like determining what was allowed to be seen. So when the web came along, I wanted to like make the counter to that, like what's the things that you don't get to see.
And then you made shoot John Travolta in the face,
Yeah.
the game.
I had to go John Travolta watch.
As far as the Seal game, was that like making that game? Was that more about trying to create some kind of awareness about this horrific thing, or was it just some kind of like fucked up
it was that,
self-therapy?
yeah.
You were traumatized and you're messed up now.
A little bit of both.
Okay.
I think it was just trying to be fun. I just thought it was funny. I don't know. I don't know why. Oh, back there. It was like a pretty big jump, because all the console stuff is definitely a lot more hoops to jump through.
That's
still
an
like,
understatement.
yeah.
It was a nightmare.
Like, I still prefer the web. Like, I like just being able to make something and release it and having that just comfortable. And it's like exciting to just release it and see the instant response on the web.
It's more accessible too.
Yeah, and you know that everyone can just play it. Like, I'm still a big believer in web games, even though I know web games in general have sort of taken a hit with Steam and mobile. But I still prefer the whole, I can click a link and play a game and I'm not installing things and whatever else. But yeah, it was a big leap. And what was the other part of the question? Nintendo, yeah, there's no plans right now for Wii U, but I'm a big Wii U fan right now because I've been playing it a lot this past year. Super Mario 3D Worlds and Captain Toad and Mario Kart 8 are all like some of the best games that came out this past year.
So that's what you've been doing for the last couple of years.
Playing Wii U. Anyone? Yeah, I guess once we did the original version, porting it went pretty smoothly. One thing was like when we did the HD version, it was originally like, it's kind of crazy that when we made the first console version of it, it was before like widescreen, flat widescreen TVs. So it was made at like the 4:3 aspect ratio, and we had to change it to the 16:9 aspect ratio for live arcade, and that meant every level had more visible space, and you'd approach checkpoints and bosses and things, and that all sort of came into play, and that was something that had to be dealt with. And for a while, like Castle, we had to add it where it's like I had a letterbox version for 4:3, which made things simpler. But now it's like you don't even have to worry about that as much nowadays. Yeah. Yeah, that's one of the most discouraging things. Is in the early days you could make something overnight, and if it was silly, it could take off and be a big hit. Nowadays, it's really hard to just make something quick and have it be a hit. You got to put a lot more work into it. So that is the tough thing. Is as web games have gotten, sort of the bar of quality has gotten so high for making web games that you do have to question now, like, well, if I'm going to put this much work into it, what's going to be the long-term payoff versus selling it on Steam? Although on the other hand, as Steam gets more and more people on it, it's sort of like mobile has the problem where they say it's like a casino where you'll either hit big or get nothing at all and go home broke. So any platform where you can sell things has that same risk that the more success people have, the more congested it's going to get, and then the more losers you'll have for every winner. In which case, the web starts to be more appealing because it has the whole ad revenue model. Sort of like Android is big on ad revenue versus iPhone, which is big on sales. Where the web, if you're releasing free games on Android that are ad revenue based, then you should also be releasing them on sites like Newgrounds and even Congregate and stuff, where you can get ad revenue from them, because it's sort of the same model as that. It's still all PHP. No, yeah, it's all our own built. We kind of have like our own framework we've made for it, and yeah. It was a mix. I was like self-taught in BASIC, but then in high school I learned Pascal, and I used that to make. I used to make dial-up bulletin board games where it was like ANSI art and stuff like that, and like text. And then in college I took C++, but that never really applied. It was more like my Pascal transitioned into AS2 programming. And so it was a mixture of some things from school and some things. I was really fortunate to have the Pascal class in high school. I think that was a big help. And yeah, and then basically AS2 was always self-taught from there. Yeah. Sure. So the logo, I guess the big thing is I was a big KMFDM fan. So I liked the kind of like the brute propaganda art style on their stuff. So I wanted something that had that propaganda style. I kind of like knew I wanted the sunbeams, but what was in front of the sunbeams was sort of up in the air for a while. So we had like been trying, like we had like at one point, we never.
Like a chopper, right?
Yeah, we had like a helicopter, we had a robot. They never went live on the site, they were just sort of concepts. And then finally it was just like, what about a tank? And the tank just like worked really well. And it kind of like fit the whole like, tank just sort of runs things over and just kind of gets where it needs to go. So it's sort of like how we kind of looked at things, and that's where it ended up. But then it was awkward though when the whole, like after 9/11 and the whole war on terror started. It started feeling like a tank had like a different symbolism. It was like it's more polarizing. Like as a kid, you're just thinking, oh, tank, like G.I. Joe and stuff cool. But start feeling, oh, it's like, are there people that are put off by Newgrounds because our logo's a tank now?
Yeah, you're overthinking it.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I remember someone posted on like Twitter or on the forums. There was like some revolution in Mexico or some shit, and they were using the Newgrounds logo like on their. I remember that. Someone was like, "This tank looks very familiar."
Yeah. And there's some countries where it's like straight up just really frowned on, like where just people don't like the tank symbolism at all. Yeah. But so who knows? But it's still a fun logo. I guess my soft spot's Castle Crashers, just because I grew up playing brawlers. Like at this point, I've tried to play every brawler that was ever made up through like the end of the arcade period. And so that was sort of like the realization of, like I used to write game design documents for brawlers too, and like send them off to companies and hope they like make brawlers. But so that was sort of like the realization of a lot of childhood dreams and, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. And then the fact that it was a success was like a really nice surprise, because you really don't expect, you always sort of expect the worst, and then when something like that happens, it's like really kind of validating. Like makes you feel good. So. On Newgrounds, let's see. There's a lot of them over the years. I go back to 3LE a lot. Is one that I think of like the underdogs that like still haven't like caught on super big. There's one called 3LE, which is just like a totally like stream of consciousness action comedy movie that I still really like. And in recent years, there's a user Space Fader who does sort of like an 80s. It's like kind of looks like EGA graphics set to like modern 80s synth, just real dark, real cool. Like I'm really like a big fan of his style.
Is that pixel stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really trippy too.
Yeah. And then the Madness, the guy did the Madness movie that's like part code. It's like, man, I'm forgetting his name now. It's like not anyway. There's this dude that made a Madness movie that's like actually like coded. Like it's like the movie's like more programming than like hand animation. And it was a Madness Day entry, and like stuff like that just is really cool because it feels different from everything else that people have made.
Thanks for naming one of our pieces.
Oh, and of course everything by
jerk.
Rebecca and
yeah.
everything by these guys. Well, they're just default. Default guys. Yeah. Of course, I like their stuff, or they wouldn't be here.
Default creator 1, 2, and 3.
See, I'm trying to think of the guys that don't get the shout outs as much.
It's true.
Yeah. Anyway.
Well, I had a group of assholes for friends when we were on the site, and we were self-proclaimed trolls, and then we go around and be jerks all day. So I made a lot of really troll stuff on Newgrounds with this guy named Hulalau, and then one day I made a very mean Flash, Street Fighter Chode, which like is how I met everybody, and from there, I sort of it was like weird because I enjoyed making mean things, but then I started to like kind of not want to make crap anymore and like take my time. And the really lazy stuff became really overly dramatic because I got a lot of inspiration from like all the people like Ego and Harry and everybody. And I'm like, I don't want to make garbage anymore. I want to make stuff that looks good. And that's basically what happened. Like I was an asshole and then I evolved. But I can still be an asshole. Don't tempt me. I can't. I'm sorry.
Yeah, right. I mean, I'm like third gen or whatever gen. I'm later gen. I came to Newgrounds late in like 2010, so I was fairly new school, I guess. But
dude, Mick, you were fucking
anyways,
can I say the F word?
Yeah.
It's a little late now, man.
Yeah.
You were beeping everywhere.
I was a big slut. I was in everyone's shit.
No, he was like, and that's the thing too. Like our group. They hated Mick. Like they were just completely ragging on him.
It's not the hate on Mick panel, dude.
And I was like, and then Mick came to me one day when I released my horrible Sailor Man cartoon, and I was like, Mick, I don't have any bad blood with you. Can you help me? And then I talked to Mick, and then Mick helped me figure out the coding, and he was super polite, super nice.
I do remember.
And then that's basically when I was like, when they were like, man, Mick's a whore. I'm like, no, Mick's just a nice guy.
Yeah, that I was also a little bit of a whore, but I feel like because when I
no,
I'm
not offending you.
No, thank you. I appreciate that. No, see, I actually forgot that part. But when it came to the voicing stuff, I had been doing like more boring commercially type things for like software companies and just whatever, and I really wanted to do character stuff. And so I looked around, and it was happening at the exact same time that I had been watching like Ego Raptor stuff, kind of caught me, and Harry's stuff and Chris's stuff, and I hadn't seen a whole lot of it, but I traced it back to Newgrounds. Like I would Google the name of it, and instead of YouTube coming up, Newgrounds came up, and then so I was like, oh, I guess that's. And Aaron used to plug Newgrounds at the end of his cartoons, so like I'd heard it, but like I just never had the impetus to go. And I finally showed up, and it was just so many creative people and so much going on. And then I remember just going through the bulletin boards, and there happened to be like a shout out for voice actors. And then that was basically it. Like I started with the voice acting stuff, and I basically just said yes to everything and asked if I can be in people's things. I mean, if you trace through my history on Newgrounds, I mean, everything from like fucking sprite shit to whatever, I was just voicing stuff, and some of it was garbage. And I mean, not them, but they were starting out, but some of my stuff was garbage as far as like voicing and stuff. But yeah, and then from there, it's just like literally, and I've said this to Tom personally, but from that. I then got professional training in doing like the character stuff, and then I was like doing Yu-Gi-Oh! And some games and stuff. It's not a whole plethora of like amazing, huge things, but I do know that that's where it started, was like saying yes to everything and basically trying and doing all the different voices I could. Failing a lot, so much. It's funny too, like my first 3 submissions to the Newgrounds animation portal all got blammed. Like nobody ever saw the first 3 things I ever made.
My troll stuff got blammed sometimes.
Yeah.
My loud screaming with static.
Oh yeah. With just the face going like shit like that. Yeah. Like the weird zooms where it like stretches and bounces around.
Oh yeah, the fucking 6 gigabyte flash videos that just destroy your computer. Yeah. That was totally me.
But the end of my story is that the one thing that made it through the portal, the first thing was this Castlevania cartoon based on a joke I had with a friend, and Tom put it on the front page, and it was like the first thing that went through, and I don't know. That was super motivating, and I literally got so amped. I didn't get something front page for a long time after that, but it's okay. I'm just saying, like, it was a very creative and supportive community. Trust me, a lot of it should never have been on the front page, but yeah, and then yeah. So that's how I got involved with Newgrounds.
Oh, actually. I met all you guys through Newgrounds, but I think the first actual interaction I had with Tom. Man, it's embarrassing to think about what I did, but I made a Pico cartoon in like 60 hours, I think, and it was, if you've seen it, it was a cartoon with Jeff and Tom having sex.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude, that was hilarious.
And that's how I met Tom.
And now we're making a game together.
Yeah, so time flies. when
That's
you're
how
having
these
fun.
things happen. Me and Newgrounds. That's a pretty long story. I'll give you the condensed soup version. When did I? Probably like '99. I first started talking to Tom. Maybe 2000.
Do you have anything pre-automated? You were in the
Oh yeah, you were.
So was '99.
Yeah, like before the portal was automated,
Yeah.
Tom was putting my stuff on Newgrounds when there was like, shit, like 20 flashes on the site, something like that. And I was just a little baby boy, golden locks, and all the boys wanted me.
Nothing's changed, Dave.
It's true.
I guess, yeah, so I did that for a while. And I guess in 2003, Tom picked me up for the web designer there. And that was my trade for a good long while. But I still did cartoons. So that was always a hobby. And then everything just kind of fell together naturally. Because I would, I started making cartoons as a hobby. And then I'd have to supply my own voices for the cartoons. And then, I had to web design for money. And then, it just all kind of came together. And now I'm a fucking voice actor. But I'm not, I'm just a guy that just kind of had my hands in every honeypot and licked my fingers a lot, you know what I'm saying? And I guess, man, that was so 15 years ago. Good Lord, man. That's my history with Newgrounds. 15 years ago. Good Lord, man. There. That's the title of the book. Did I leave anything out?
That's a good summary.
There's a hand all the way down there. He said that like.
Oh, hand over there.
Yeah.
I was about
Oh,
to,
I thought you had your hand up.
you.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, Yes, that was the goal last year, but now it's the goal this year, is that we're finally doing our adaptive mobile layout, which can then also
Oh, you mean the
become an
web
app.
layout. Okay.
Yeah. One of the big things, the 2012 redesign started in 2009, and at that point, like if you had a mobile website, it was completely independent of your regular website, and plus your app was completely independent of that. And we've never really had like the development horsepower to like have maintain 3 code bases for 3 different front ends. So by the time that redesign launched in 2012, we were starting to see the early hints of the adaptive design, which is now that's like the prominent way to do a website. Where
It's a pain in the ass too, man.
yeah, but you have a single layout that just adapts to the different screen sizes versus having like 2 completely unique layouts. And the other thing is that you can run HTML in an app, and that used to be more frowned on in the early days because it didn't run as well as an app. But nowadays, with the way phones are just getting better, it can run well. And there's little things you can do too, like phones naturally treat HTML. They put like a lag when you tap on links because they're checking to see if you're double tapping things. But you can put in some JavaScript that like bypasses that and makes it feel like an instant interaction, like an app. So there's like little things like that that have like held back websites from feeling like apps. That all that's sort of coming together now.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so our goal is we just want to maintain one layout that will work on everything properly. And that's the goal this year. Hopefully we'll pull
I'm
that
sorry
off.
the current one isn't good enough for you, Dad.
In the back? Or, yeah, with the glasses? Or, okay, you first.
Oh, that's happened
Yeah.
a couple of times. Yeah. What about that one dude that he called the?
Oh, was it Sir Tom?
I don't know.
That happens pretty regularly. Like when a trend happens, like I guarantee you, if there was like a fad going on, like for instance, there was just like copious amounts of like Five Nights at Freddy's games that were on. Like it's just kind of like a trend goes by, and Newgrounds will have like 20 flashes of this trend, like Flappy Birds. Like you remember how many fucking flashes with Flappy Birds were on Newgrounds? It's just kind of like it's always been the harbor ground of trends, and it's always been like that.
What
like,
the hell are you
always.
talking about? You just like avoided. That wasn't the question.
I
man.
thought that's what she's talking about, trends.
Yeah, you know, like 9/11. Remember that trend?
It's a harsh word,
We
but it's the
remember,
same
bitch.
thing.
Yeah,
the
remember
9/11
that?
meme?
We were like, yeah.
Dude, did you really think that like 9/11 was trending?
It
and
was the
that's what-
hottest meme, dude.
No, you know what I mean. It's like if a
I
tragedy
know what
happened.
you mean. She was talking
If a
about
tragedy
like,
happened-
serious things. You start talking about Five Nights at Freddy's, Corey.
I was using a scenario now, asshole.
9/11, Five Nights at Freddy's.
You're not.
Anyway.
Game over.
Yeah, 9/11 was definitely, that was probably like the biggest kind of like noteworthy thing. But like one thing is like the site's been around so long now that we actually have like popular artists that pass away, and that's always sort of like a galvanizing moment when everyone, it kind of like brings the community together, really kind of like stop and reflect on how long everything's been around and like the, you know, the value of these people
Yeah,
that
no
have been
kidding,
on the site.
dude.
So that's like a sad thing, but well, I guess 9/11 is a sad thing too. But yeah, I guess tragedy is like
Yeah,
something
I
that
guess.
unites people. Yeah, you know, I guess people are united around tragedies. But
And people have stopped things too. Like I'm gonna go burn my school down. It's like,
yeah, like,
you can't
there was
do
the whole
that.
a user in the UK like was bringing a can of petrol to his school, and he made a post that he was gonna burn his school down. So users called the school and got him arrested. And if he was joking, then whoops, like then it wasn't a good joke. But he actually
No,
got caught with like
I don't think
his
anyone
petrol and
laughed.
like a knife or something, and in
What's
his
he gonna-
bag. Yeah, so that was thwarted.
I don't think he's joking if you went that far.
Yeah, yeah.
I was joking, man.
Yeah, so that was a positive. We stopped that
Did our hybrid answer your question?
somewhat. Oh, on a side note, Proxicide was the user's name I was trying to
Proxicide. Yeah, there you go,
Proxicide.
yeah. He's
Yeah.
awesome.
So look up Proxicide. All right. Oh, wait, you in the back with the other glasses. Yes. It's a weird thing. Yeah, it's like we've never been set up well for generating revenue. Like our biggest problem is because of the type of content we've always had low ad rates, and so revenue was always sort of like we just needed enough to be able to go. But now, in the age of YouTube, revenue is a bigger priority because one of the big lures of YouTube, besides like, well, traffic is the biggest lure, like getting a lot of views, but also people do want to be able to like get those ad rates. So now we are trying to solve the thing of how do we get the ad rates that YouTube gets, and in some ways that does lead to like making the site feel a little safer and cleaner to be keep people happy, and that's a bummer. But we're always trying to walk that line. I wouldn't say like Candy Crush in terms like we don't have microtransactions or any Skinner box type of like we'll figure out a way to get your money, but we do have the supporter system now, which is sort of like a we don't push it too hard. We don't give it a lot of incentives because one of the fears is like I always didn't like the idea of making the paying users get things that the free users want and like have the free users feel bad. So we try to angle it more of just like you support the site and you don't have ads, and that's like kind of like what you get for supporting the site. But we'll see if it ever grows into more than that. So it's always like a tightrope act with that stuff too.
The hell is Candy Crush?
It's like gem or something.
I was serious.
It's all right.
It's all right. We could come back to you if you want to think about it.
If it comes back, just raise your hand again. We'll get to
The
it.
Nerf gun there.
Wait, hold on. How far do those things shoot?
Oh my God.
Damn, dude.
Nice.
Stop it! You answered the question. Are you out? You're not getting these back, all right? Going in my pocket. After class.
Oh yeah. Like promoting versus revenue? Well, it's really, I'd say like the exciting thing, I know in the early days for me, being viewed was the exciting thing. So that was the first thing you wanted, was people to see your work. So I'd say views is a big motivation, probably the biggest motivation. But once you get those views, then I think you do then you're like, oh, well, like, if I can make a living off of this, I want to make a living off it. So if you know that someone with a lot of views on YouTube can make a living off of it, then that will become your goal for a lot of people. That, because that's a good goal to have, like, do what you love and make a living. And it's a good goal for Newgrounds to have for people too.
And I'd say, going back to what you were saying earlier about like console development and stuff like that, in a lot of ways I feel sticking to the web, you have such a broader audience that you could reach. I mean, you look at all these titles, like, oh, I'm on Xbox. It's like, well, how many titles did you ship? Versus, you had it here, and you could have done millions more. If you're just looking for exposure, then the web is a really good place to do that. If you don't, I mean, you look at like just direct numbers, even with animation, like you pull millions of hits on whatever, even like 500,000. That's more than most shows get on TV, like double that.
And a lot of successful things, like a lot of off-web successes have a web component. It has, like just recently, Exploding Kittens on Kickstarter. They had a $10,000 goal, or $10,000 goal, and they were at like $3 million in like 2 or 3 days. But it was the artist from the Oatmeal, and he had cultivated tons of web fans. It's like if he didn't have a fan base and just was like a stranger with Exploding Kittens, that might have never clicked.
Or if he just released like physical books all the time.
Yeah, but he had fans that were ready. They were basically like, we are ready to support you, whatever you do.
Didn't they like really fuck up Funny or Die or whatever website it was? What was it?
Funny Junk.
Funny Junk? Yeah, because they like stole his cartoon, and then he was like, let's raise some money. And they raised like $8 billion.
Yeah.
And then they like dropped a meteor on them or something. It was, I remember, like, the dude, like, the guy who ran it, like, his wife was a lawyer, and she, like, had a nervous breakdown or some shit.
Yeah.
Oh, but as far as what you were saying, like, I just wanted to toss in, like, as far as going to YouTube, like, oh, what the views are important, but now money's kind of important. I think what you had mentioned before about the bar being raised is a part of that equation. Shut that thing fucking up.
Hold on, I have a phone.
I know you have a phone. I was just saying something.
Go ahead.
Yeah. No, but just like because the bar is raising, that it's not just like a 2-day flash that you just shit out and then like get some views. You know
Not
what I mean?
anymore.
Right. So it's like because people are investing a lot more time, because the bar has been raised, it's not even so much like in order to compensate for that, in order to justify that time, I think people are trying to find, how do I monetize this the most? And I think that was part of what it ended up.
Yeah.
Was the general migration.
And on that one too, everybody I know is a one-man army. They do everything. People need to collaborate more. Like, so how long did it take you to make that cartoon? It's like, well, I'm still working on the music. It's like, dude, why don't you just focus on, get some other guys. There's plenty of great musicians. You can do it all. It doesn't mean you have to do it all. So that brings people back.
One thing I'm still really proud of is we have a really great multi-author system where you can credit all the individual roles and you can set the percentage of revenue that each person gets.
I can't believe YouTube hasn't done that.
Yeah, I still like talk to people on YouTube and they're like, yeah, it's stressful to do things and have to like split up money every month.
It's like
YouTube just added like
they recently added the credits thing.
Yeah, but it's bullshit.
It is
like
such
at the
bullshit.
bottom
Like, nobody fucking cares. Nobody sees that either.
You have to like pull the author thing down and it's like, also buy this. If you have to go out of your way to add that, you might as well just punch their names in the fucking
What baffles me,
actually seeing the names, like if you type it in the about section, you have a better chance of fucking seeing
what
it.
baffles me baffles me is how like the description evolved. Like before you would see a video and it would have words below the video or next to the video. Now there's fucking nothing. It's like show more and it's like it's in the description, but most people have like,
I don't want to
the brain capacity of me. And
I don't know how.
Yeah, they're just like there's just like a fucking line where it just says what the video is and that's your description.
Titties.
Another thing. You ready? Oh, I'll let you guys finish.
Lay it on me.
All right. Another thing is our multi-author works with the feed. So, like if you have a popular voice actor like Elspeth, you in here? Raise your hand. Headphones. Yeah, like if you let her voice act in your movie, her fans will know about it when you release it, and that's like a cool feature. Yeah. It's like our feed is something that's been, it's playing catch up because YouTube had the feed first, but our feed is something that's getting, it's a powerful thing, and the more people that use it, the more powerful it's going to get. And we don't have an algorithm that filters it, so right now, you know, your fans that are visiting the site will see your stuff. Like, it won't get hidden.
Yeah.
But I think that's also a sign of how the whole site works. It's like more community-based, creator-based. You know, we're linking the creators and putting them together rather than like viewer-based, where it's like, how do we like create all these embeds and, you know, put it in, you know, feeds. I know that you guys have eventually got there, but, you know, as far as what the structure was initially.
Yeah.
What's also interesting about like Newgrounds is like you have the review system. No other site has that. Like you make a flash and people review it. That was something my friends Beau Garden said they were the hierarchies of doing, and it's like the review system. Obviously, you know, you can kind of bias your way through it. You make a flash, and if you can kind of draw titties and butts, I'm sure you could get some good scores. But like if you make like a artsy flash or something that like catches people's attention, then you can get some very like people coming in and giving you reviews of stuff that you like. Oh, like I like this aesthetic and stuff, and people are very open-minded, and that's nice. That's something I always like appreciated.
I'd say the reviews on Newgrounds are far more valid than the bullshit on YouTube.
Yeah, exactly. What you get on YouTube, you get assholes trying to get the top comment and be really funny. Like the trend of the day, it's like
First.
yeah, first.
But
And
I think it's the way
and
that
then you
system works.
do show more, and there's like 100 replies. They're like, shut up,
Because you
faggot.
could only write one. You
Yeah.
can only write one review, so you got one shot. And if
Yeah.
you're gonna say something fucking stupid,
It's
then,
funny though
yeah.
because like
Oh yeah, that's true. That does. Yeah, nobody else really adopted that model.
No,
On
they
YouTube,
should.
you just be like first, second, third. By the way, this sucks.
You know what I love about that system is like what's great about it is like because they can only write one thing. So if you get some fucking asshole that says some bullshit, I can like if I'm the author, I can always respond. So I always get the last fucking word.
Yeah.
They can say
Yeah.
whatever they fucking
that
want.
was
I can be
always the
like,
intent.
nice
Yeah.
dick, and then they can't say anything again. So it's awesome.
Yeah.
He's
they
like,
can
"Oh, you
PM you.
motherfucker. You
I know where you live, bitch.
I remember when I did Chode, I got novel responses, and I just responded with lol, and I got so many fucking PMs with people just like ripping me
If you haven't
apart.
seen Chode yet, you need to watch it.
It's rude.
ah.
It was a time I spent. Oh man,
That's when I fell in love with Corey. Told Tom to put it on the front page, and Tom was like, "I don't know, this is mean." And I was like, "Put it on the front page, Tom."
I know.
Or quit.
I always felt guilty about it, but it was like a masterpiece at the same time.
Yeah,
it
it
was
was.
like
Yeah.
such.
This is before the whole
Thank
bullying
you.
craze, though. Like, if something happened that now, you'd probably be a little less prone to putting that on the front page.
Yeah, we all made a pact. We were like, dude, we can never piss Corey off because he is so good at destroying people.
Yeah.
No, that
I
is an
wouldn't do
interesting
that
thing. Like
now,
when someone's a really amazing artist and they also have like a mean attitude, it does make you like nervous of like when are they gonna like
Oh,
when
yeah,
will the
like
crosshairs
the-
fall on me and they'll just
like
do the
back
takedown.
alleys,
Like
the
the
dick
takedown I'll be
funnies.
remembered for
Oh,
forever.
man.
Yeah.
But it's like it's fuck. What was I gonna say? Damn it, forgot. We share brainwaves.
Yeah. Wait, what about Nerf gun guy?
Oh, yeah, did you ever get to ask your question? Yeah, what was your question?
I liked your Nerf shots though.
Yeah. The store, well, like, so we did our own fulfillment with the store, which always meant, you know, someone having to pack up and ship things out every day. But we also had, like, we should have, like, you know, a lot of stores have more limitations on their international stuff. We had a lot of like issues where it's like you would ship $50 worth of merchandise and you'd pay like over $20, like $30 to ship it to another country, and then it would never get there, so you'd have to redo that and just ship it again, and that basically would just kill any money that was made off of like all your other stuff that week, and also like, you know, you'd get like a credit card charge back on something, so you like send out $100 worth of stuff and you get a credit card charge back. So there's lots of little issues like that, but just as Newgrounds was essentially downsizing and making everything simple and cheap, and we were planning to move out of the office last year, although that's been postponed at the moment. But the goal's been to move to a smaller space. But yeah, the whole plan was just like we're gonna get back to the roots of just focusing on the site and content and not running around trying to run a store, because it just wasn't a pleasant aspect of you know, doing it. And ultimately, some of it will come back through like a third party. You know, we'll team up and have shirts
that's
available.
what you need to do, man. That's why
Yeah.
they exist.
Yeah.
Pass it off. Give
Yeah.
them shark robot.
But yeah, like, you know, there's a period, you know, we made like the Tankmen toys and the Peanicorns. It's like we really like hit the ground running with trying to build a whole, you know, array of stuff. And you know, it was fun for the time, but it's something that's like the urge it got it out of my system anyway. I don't have the urge anymore.
Sorry to interrupt, but to tack on to that, I am curious though, just about the future, because I feel like when Newgrounds first came out, it was a hub for a lot of things, for you know, a lot of different types of creators to put stuff where there wasn't a home for it. But now that we've got like SoundCloud, and you know, there's Congregate for like games, or there's, you know, just fucking, you know, there's Tumblr and shit for the art and stuff like that. I feel like Newgrounds, while it was the one place, now there's all these different sites that specialize and branch off and do those individual things.
Yeah. There's still not an animation site.
That's sort of
well, that's right. Yeah.
There will never be.
So I was curious if that was going to be it. Like, if you guys are going to, I know art will. I mean, that's the thing, is like all of those things are part of the history and the roots of Newgrounds. And so as far as downsizing and trying to streamline and focus the efforts, is that something that you've like considered, or is that you'll always have all the things that are there?
Well, one thing is we've been working on behind the scenes on a whole satellite system. So basically, we could launch a dedicated animation site, and Newgrounds would be the publishing engine for it, but only the really cool stuff would end up on the dedicated animation site. Ooh. And it would all run through the same system where it would run better paying ads because it's not Newgrounds. And
like a streaming like TV, like Hulu thing? Like
didn't the Atom Films try to do that? And Icebox? And didn't they both fail miserably?
Yeah, but they did it. They spent like hundreds of $millions to do it. So.
What? Well, yeah, but that just makes it worse because they still failed.
Well, they just ran out of money. They just couldn't get the investors to keep writing them checks. And plus, it was earlier days with bandwidth and everything.
Oh, that's true.
But it's one of those things where it's like we can create these destination sites that pay better ad rates, and you can, for the artists, you can just publish through Newgrounds, get paid through Newgrounds, but now you can see that you're just getting paid from like a whole bunch of different places. So that's something that we're tinkering with right now. For Newgrounds itself,
word, tinkering.
I know, tinkering. Well, it's because you tinker a lot. That's what you do. You tinker, and some things work and some things don't. But yeah, that has been like the death by 1,000 cuts when there's like dedicated websites for all the things that we do. But I still think, like I like that Newgrounds is like a place where if you play a game, the artist in the credits also has animation on the site, and the musician in the credits also has music on the site, and it's something that really ties it together where you can take in the whole picture of it, where on any other site, like if you play a game on a gaming site, you're not caring about any of that stuff for the most part. You're just like consuming games, where we're trying to get people to sort of care more about the individual parts and get inspired by the individual people. And like Tumblr or something, when we first, you know, we got set up on Tumblr to set up a social page for Newgrounds, and it was like, I was like, wow, like Tumblr's really got like a nice thing going on. You know, you can style your page, and it's like you can publish your stuff.
Tumblr's a fucking train wreck.
Well, it's
man.
like the one thing I'm seeing with Tumblr is it's just there's like nothing.
There's two categories.
I just like I want to like hear people say things. Like we post things and it gets reblogged and liked, and it's like I don't have a clue.
There,
yeah, like I don't have a clue who these people are, and I don't care about them like the same way I do. Like on Facebook and Twitter, we have real people that we interact with and can talk to.
Tom,
and like,
I don't care about them.
Well, on Twitter, no, but that's
really
the problem
like
with Tumblr. It's a Tumblr problem. I'm saying it's like because it's just all like it feels like so anonymous.
Yeah. There's a community because I use Tumblr with my friend Chad, and like it's more or less like an art gallery where you just put stuff up and people can comment stuff. But Tumblr is just like, it's tragedy posts and porn, and that's Tumblr. Tumblr in a nutshell. That's Tumblr. That's what my Tumblr is. I follow porn, not tragedy, but...
That's like you saying the entire internet's porn, and because your entire browsing history is just you looking at porn on the internet.
That's not too inaccurate.
But yeah, I still feel like we have something really cool going on. We just have to figure out the key to like get the people to see it as a shiny new thing again.
Yeah, it's over, man. You've
carried
had
on.
More than enough time to figure that out. It's all over, man.
We're still in the game though. In the back. Sorry. Nick, do you want to?
Submit a reel.
Open your mouth. I mean, just go to the forums. I mean, I don't know what it's like now, but
well, there is a voice actor forum now.
It's a dedicated one.
Yeah, there's a voice actor forum. You can put your voice reel in the audio forum.
Having a voice reel.
In the audio portal.
A voice reel, a demo reel. That's how you get your voice out there. I've gotten so many people come up to me like, "Hey, I want to voice your cartoon." I'm like, "Do you have a demo reel?" And they're like, "Oh." It's like, so you make a demo reel or a voice reel, and then you can show them your range and what you're able to do, and it's like, that's pretty good, and then you can like get them. Nobody fucking does that. That's like, it's like an unheard thing. It's spoken hushed tones. Nobody knows what that is. More people should start fucking making demos, and maybe people
moreover,
are.
it shows that you have the hardware and the environment to
create something.
Yeah. Also, yeah.
Right.
Don't have
or
a
that
mic.
you at least kind of
Don't
know what
use
you're
your
doing.
fucking rock star mic or whatever this shit is.
and you don't need to wait for someone to make a cartoon either. There's plenty of cartoons that already exist. You can just throw your voice over it.
Yeah. Don't try to go for the highest one.
Right. It's just so people know that
Just
you
get your
can
voice out there.
you can record lines and you can speak in characters and that you're fucking that you can do what you need to do.
Yeah, your quality will reign. It's just don't go for the best. Like don't like. That sounds fucking arrogant. I'm sorry, but don't just like
Lower your expectations in life. Is that what you're saying? Don't try to be the best. Is that what you said?
Just give up. Just give up.
I don't know.
Did that answer the question? Oh God.
A Nerf gun?
Let me tell
Hey,
you
don't
something.
fuck you, man.
Let me tell you something. This is what happened.
That never happened.
This is what happened, okay? I'm gonna be
That
completely
wasn't
honest.
recorded and put on
I'm gonna be completely honest. I was. Because I was disappointed with what happened. Seeing like zones flashes and stuff be shoved under because it was adult.
Wait, stop. What?
Hold on.
What are we
hold on.
talking about?
I'm
No.
talking like this. Like there was a point I told Tom, I emailed him, like, you should make an adult Newgrounds. But now I realize, after working here for like months, that I understand now. I was biased to the idea of it. Because like, as you know, I do porn and stuff, and this is fun. I love doing it because I have a dirty mind. But it's like, you can't really do that on Newgrounds. It's changed. The ad companies are terrified of porn. If Google sees porn, they will shit themselves and never talk to you again.
We're like eternally blacklisted by
Yeah,
Google.
exactly.
Google
Eternally
actually
blacklist. They'll be
they
like,
actually tell when we were trying to they won't let us have ads on our YouTube page, and
Yeah.
when we had a prominent like LA firm trying on our behalf to get it.
yeah.
They said we won't work with Newgrounds, and we recommend you don't
Exactly.
either.
And that's
so that's
what-
Google on Newgrounds.
And that's what happened. Like I was in that boat. I was like making an adult site, but I didn't realize the repercussions of doing that. But after being here, I realize now that it's bullshit. Like it's just like a bunch of old men that's like, I saw titties 6 years ago. Fuck you. And that's all it is.
Yeah, as far as us talking about Newgrounds, first of all, there's no way there's ever going to be contention
There's
up
no
here.
way.
We love Tom, and
Yeah,
Tom knows
I love
that.
Tom,
and our assumption is
and-
that he saw the panel. That's always the assumption.
And this is the thing too. Like even if I was to talk bad about Newgrounds, it is only because I love Newgrounds. It's how I met all my friends. It's how I've like shaped my life, and it's kind of like if I'm very passionate about a game, I'm not gonna go with what everyone else is saying. Like, oh, it's great because he said it's great. It's like, no, this game so and so sucks because so and so sucks in the game because it's my opinion and stuff. And I can critically analyze. That's a word now. Newgrounds, and I can be like, this is why I like Newgrounds, but this is also something I don't like. But I can understand. And I can get by with it now. Like if I released a cartoon, I would put it on Newgrounds, but I don't do that. But
Yeah, I mean, as far as Newgrounds, I think a lot of what we were talking about before was just like, why was there a migration? Why did people do these things?
Yeah.
And I don't think that was shitting on Newgrounds. I mean,
No.
I don't know what the quotes are, but I don't believe anyone was like, fuck. Well, actually, Stanford might have said that. But it would have been in love, I'm sure.
If we're talking about the last panel, all I said was
it's
Newgrounds
love.
is
It's
fucking
love.
up.
I swear,
Yeah.
it's love.
That's it.
And I think, if anything, it's
But
always...
I also said every website was fucking
Right.
up. And
Look, I could talk about YouTube a hell of a lot fucking more than I could about Newgrounds.
I'm talking about the successes and who I want to be successful.
Right.
And when things aren't happening fast enough, you
Right.
know.
Well,
YouTube.
something too is the web used to be like a thriving ecosystem of lots of websites,
Yeah.
and that's
Frustrating than
really
anything.
they're
It's
almost
getting
all
polarized,
Dead.
yeah.
They're almost all dead now. Like it's your socials on Facebook, your videos are on YouTube, or Twitter's and other. It's everybody's basically now on those sites, and all these individual like quirky sites that used to have like sustainable audiences. most of them are gone or dead or dying. And I think compared to those, Newgrounds has held up really well. We're like in this weird spot where we're like below the top players, but we're definitely not like on our way out. But and hopefully, you know, it's just one of those things where we'll either float along there or something magical happens someday, and we'll be ready. You know, they say that luck is when preparedness meets opportunity. So we're just preparing.
That's
for our
not
next,
it, but that's really close.
We're preparing for
preparation meets
preparation meets
perspiration. I don't know.
No,
they're both
luck
P's.
Is
That's not it,
preparation
but it's
meets
really
opportunity.
close.
Yeah.
So we're preparing. We're staying prepared. You know, we drive the ad rates up. We drive the feed up. We keep building the things because the opportunity will then come and we'll be ready. That's the hope.
Newgrounds.
If there's anything I
Home
can
of the ups
say,
and downs.
like,
Newgrounds, maybe we'll get lucky. That's
Newer
our
grounds.
new slogan.
Okay.
Maybe we'll get lucky.
YouTube in general can just like blow itself left, right, and center. It's as simple as that. I would laugh. I'd be like, dude, that's sweet.
No, I mean, we
I
were
can't
talking
do
about
that.
like how the model works, especially because like we're talking about in the context of animators and you know that context. At this point, the 200 patrons that I have, who I fucking love, all of them, amazing people, right? 200 of them. I have 300,000 subscribers. The 200 people that are my patrons there is more financial support there than there is from 1 million views a month.
Yeah.
That to me is
basically.
fucking balls out amazing.
And then like
So I can say, fuck YouTube. I can say I will put my cartoons on because they don't care where I put it.
Yeah.
They're just supporting that. So I literally could say, suck my dirty fucking sweaty balls, YouTube.
If there's anything
What's
I
it?
would do with my cartoons is from now on, if you ever somehow in like when the fucking moons line up and every planet eclipse ever in the world in some weird nonsense, if I release a cartoon, I would put it on Newgrounds and Sleepy Cabin because of the support for Sleepy Cabin, and I would rather have a site that I can put shit on than have to fucking like just stick my dick in acid like YouTube.
But sorry, I don't want to be that pessimistic. To be very fair and balanced, I think YouTube was a great way
This is the
to.
first time anyone's ever said stick my dick in acid on any panel
Yeah.
ever in the history.
I don't know why that
Ever.
didn't even faze me at all. Like it just seems like you and your translucent penis, I guess. But that
What's translucent mean?
I think you even fucking said it. You're the one who fucking said it yesterday when
said
you were talking about you can
translucent.
see through your own dick. You're like,
I
put it up to
said-
a candle. I can look through my dick or whatever the fuck you said.
I don't think I said that.
Yeah, someone recorded
you
it.
did.
Jesse recorded
You
it.
did.
Fuck you.
Jesse, did you record it?
Yeah, he did. Anyway, sorry, just really quick though,
Scout's honor?
to be fair about it, YouTube can suck my dirty nuts in terms of like, oh, I'm gonna make a life there, but they were really great. I mean, they're just embedded in everything.
Yeah,
I mean,
I had,
so
like,
it's a
I
great
have
way to
support.
share your work and to create an audience.
I
But
wish I could
yeah.
go back to YouTube and be like, hey guys, the ones who do like watch me and stuff, can you not like this is kind of like not, I don't use this. I might sometime, but you know, but it's like the new system, how it's like set up for the whole YouTube thing. It's just the way the algorithm is. It's
the algorithm, man. It's the algorithm.
the algorithm, man.
The algorithm.
The
It's out to
fucking
get you,
algorithm,
man.
Right there.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's like partial competition in different categories. So you know, like SoundCloud came along, and that is where like a lot of that digs into the audio portal because SoundCloud's just dedicated audio and
Oh,
works
and
really
SoundCloud
well.
is great.
Yeah,
Go to
SoundCloud is amazing.
You know,
They're
and
cool.
yeah, you know, like DeviantArt has a big art community. So for artists, there's DeviantArt. There's Congregate and Armor Games are other web game sites that
Oh yeah,
people
Armor
go for
Games.
games.
Armor
yeah.
Games and what's that bug thing?
Congregate.
Congregate.
Yeah, the bug. Yeah.
I don't even know.
Oh no. Yeah,
No,
but yeah,
it's
it's
Wow, what a
there's
dick.
there's no site. I have I'm more confident nowadays because I feel like there's not a site that's really gunning for exactly what Newgrounds is, like
No.
the soul of Newgrounds. Like, I just feel like there's sites that win over those individual. Like for someone that just wants a dedicated site, there's sites that like will chip away at that. But I feel like Newgrounds is still very unique.
I don't like DeviantArt. I think that place is a crock of
No.
shit. Everyone is so full of shit there. It's everyone's so candy coated and syrupy there. I don't, DeviantArt loves you. It's such horseshit. I hate that fucking place. I'm not even a bitter person. It's just every time I go there, I'm like, oh God, here it comes. Here it comes. Shouldn't have said that.
Oh. No, it's all manual. It's pretty much all me, and then occasionally someone like my brother or Jim, or Goldfish probably once in a while. But like, especially if I'm like away, like they might front page something while I'm away if they know I'm not updating it.
Yeah, you're pretty hands-on with that.
But yeah, it's generally 99% me updating the front page and no algorithm.
I've seen some comments like when people say thanks Tom for the front page, and people are like, shut up, Dick, it's automated. And then clearly crushing someone's dreams.
Well,
but in
sometimes
fact,
when they win a daily award, they're like, "Oh, thanks, like you guys."
Oh, yeah,
like,
the
thanks,
dailies,
Tom,
that's
for
weird.
daily first. I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
That's the user voting that does the daily first. But
I just
yeah, the
imagine
front
if people
page-
get blamed, they blame you too. It's like, damn you, Tom Fulp!
Yeah.
Jesus, walk away. No, I mean, there's plenty of guys. I mean, all these guys. I mean, even Corey's been doing some more voicey stuff. I mean, I don't know. I don't really know how to answer that. I mean, I guess the lip spank thing with Sleepy Cabin, like, I want to do more tutorials. I mean, I love talking with people, and I love, like, engaging with people, so, like, using people's lines as, like, examples and doing that. I don't know how much I really have to teach. I mean, eventually I'm going to run out of shit, and I don't want to be in a position where I'm like, oh, let's talk about this.
You know, like, it's weird more than anything. Like, how do I do this in Photoshop? Whatever, like design advice or animation advice. I get voice acting questions that trumps all that,
Right.
like by a long shot.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of people that are very interested.
I think the thing with Stamper, I think one of the things that I love about his voice acting the most is, like, I feel like it's him, and I feel like it's really honest, like, no matter what he's doing. Like, I just feel like he's having fun, or that he's, like, being himself in a lot of ways.
Oh, well, that's the whole
and you can't
point, right?
teach that so much as, like, I think a lot of people, when they get behind a mic, they get really kind of nervous, or they're not able to, like, open up and, like, be themselves. And I think that's one of the strengths that you have, is, like, you literally can just be yourself whenever. What?
Not to interrupt you, but like when you give lines and stuff for like something I do, sometimes you just pull something out of the left field and you do something completely different. Sometimes
yeah.
it pays to ad lib and have a little fun with the lines. Like, don't just do what's written down. Burp and act very gross and inappropriate, and then it's just like, oh, fucking. Because when I do lines, if I do lines, I'm very wasted because
Sorry.
because the confidence is like.
You
that's
can't give them
something-
that advice, man. Writers hate that. They're like, follow
Well, no.
the script.
Right, but I would say no. But I do. So
Well, when you're voice acting, you're trying to have fun with cartoons.
Yeah. And I
usually.
think when you ad lib, you end up just naturally, because you're not staring at a page. When you're ad libbing, that is you. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? To a degree, you're just naturally going to free yourself up to be more honest and
Like,
be yourself.
yeah.
So I always do like 2 or 3 takes of the actual written line, and then if I just personally feel like it could be something else or like a twist on it, I'll just throw a couple in there. But yeah, that way to satisfy everybody.
Yeah, I'm saying if there's a punchline down here, and this is where the movie starts, there's a million ways to get there, so long
Yeah.
as you get to the bottom.
I love how you're the one who's fucking talking about writers having a thing, and anytime I get lines from you, there's like fucking 30 takes of just different weird ass shit. At one point, I asked for lines for one character, and he did every single character and sent me sound effects. And I was like,
That's what he did for me. Like all my
okay.
stuff.
It's like a little trick-or-treat bag.
yeah. He's like, here's the files. I was like, why is this 200 megabytes? I just wanted like 5 lines, and it was like the whole cartoon versions 1 and 2. I don't mind that. As the writer, I was okay with that. You taking those liberties there.
Well, if you're going to do something, you might as well do it right.
Emily? Sure. Okay, yeah, that goes back. So in the very early days,
Oh, yeah.
so
God damn.
So the Newgrounds hosting was like a real bumpy ride. So, in the early years, there were no ads on the site. And there was a point where like the hosting was like $30 a month, and then it was $100 a month. And around there is like, I guess, I don't know if it was around 100 or when it was getting around 1,000, like I start running ads on the site because I just couldn't afford to pay it. And the ads started paying for the site, and then they started paying like my utility bill, and kind of just kept growing from there. But then one day I was actually in class, or it was like right before I left for class, I got an email that we were getting dropped by the ad company because the content on the site was too violent. Back then it was too violent for ad companies. But
Now they're cool with violence.
yeah, now violence is okay.
Pull your
but
titties out and you're crucified.
but anyway,
You could cut people's heads off all day. What kind of
That's
sense
true.
does that make?
yeah. So so the hosting at that point was over $1,000 a month, and we got dropped by the ad company, and I had to like go to class and just like, what am I doing? Like I'm just like sitting in class while like everything crashes down around me. But it was this age where it's sort of like the YouTube networks now. There was a lot of money flowing in the whole network concept where websites will join a network under the umbrella of the network, and that network would aggregate their stats for ComScore, which shows how big they are on the web, and then they would be able to get better ad deals and bring better ad money to all the sites in the network. And there were lots of networks approaching me, and it was always like, you got to be part of a network. You can't survive without being part of a network. But Troma started a network, and I liked Troma. Like, I'd been doing some consulting for him. I did. And
you were in Toxic Avenger 4.
Yeah, well, that came a little later. But I made, for Tromeo and Juliet, I made a penis monster game where it was like Ask the Penis Monster. And Tommy Lee said it was his favorite thing on the internet. He said that in a magazine.
Sweet.
But,
Wait, oh,
the guy
yeah.
That Tommy Lee.
That guy.
But I think he had a penis monster too.
Yeah.
So Troma started a network, and I really liked Lloyd, and I liked Troma, so I was like, I'm going to go with this network, and we're going to make this work. So we were part of the Tromaville network, and that really helped us through. Those were like some of the toughest years too to get by, because bandwidth was like $20,000 a month during that period, and so that was like a huge thing, like as we grew. And then eventually, like all the networks kind of came crashing down. Like the .com crash happened, and ad rates were just like falling apart, and ad companies weren't paying. We'd have the ad companies would be net 90, where they'd pay you 3 months after the ad runs. So basically, your payment would be a month late, and you'd be like, hey, where's the ad money? And they'd be like, oh, we'll get it to you. And then like by the time you realize that it's not coming, you could be like 4 or 5 months from when those ads actually ran, and you're just like, wow, like none of the past 4 or 5 months is coming now. So that sort of just like wrecked things, and so it was after that we basically got to take over the hosting again, and we basically moved our hosting to Philadelphia, and that was really the beginning of like the next golden age of Newgrounds, because we were able to kind of like pick things back up and fix a lot of hardware stuff and get things going again. But they definitely carried us through a time that would have been a really hard period to survive on our own. So that was a good time to be in a network. Yeah. And I'm very grateful to Lloyd.
Now
Lloyd's a
just
great
take
guy.
your money.
Yeah.
Networks?
Well, that's what's funny. It's like
Sorry,
I never want to be too hard on YouTube networks, because I know people have YouTube networks, and good people.
There's a
but
lot of shitty networks.
It's like it's like back then you had to like have a serious hosting infrastructure, and you had to like do like all this stuff outside of where YouTube, it's all just kind of like in the YouTube system.
Yeah.
I've never had a problem with my network in general. It's just I can't keep up with YouTube, so it's like what.
There's a lot of crooked bastards out there, man. There's tons of
There is.
really, really shitty fucking YouTube networks, yeah. Except for Screenwave.
Yeah, Screenwave is a great YouTube network.
They are.
Uh-huh. Just from that, all I said was the Wilhelm scream sucked and people should stop using it. And it's true.
Dude, it really is. Like, it ruins movies. Like, new movies that come out and you hear the
Oh my God,
Wilhelm
Jesus
scream.
Christ, man, I can go
It's
on
like,
about that forever.
I swear, I don't hold this on me, but I swear to God, I heard a fucking Wilhelm scream in Django, and it fucking ruined it for me. Because I was like, man, this movie's awesome. And then I heard,
Did you just call it? Did you just call it Django?
The D is silent, Corey. The
That
D
was a
is
line in the movie.
yeah,
That the D was silent.
it's Django.
Oh, wait, what was the question?
You're funny.
I don't think so. I just kind of fool with stuff until it sounds right. The thing I have the most problem with is audio engineering in terms of music. I think my ears are fucked up. Because every time I make something, people are like, that's too loud, that's too quiet. That's what I got DJ Cutman for. He handles all that for me. But, yeah, I just kind of tool with it until it sounds good. There's no right or wrong way unless you really fuck it up. Then you did something wrong, I guess. I'm not an audio guy, though, sorry.
You're an everything guy. Shut up.
Yeah, you are.
Okay, fuck you.
I do have an answer for that though.
What?
Yeah, it's like a tough thing where it feels like it kind of all goes back to like the reputation of like everyone has a different idea of what the site is. So there's people that they remember it for something offensive or something that was adult. And because that's out there, I feel like people aren't as comfortable talking about it. It's like more of like their secret thing. So that's like one thing. It's like it's easy to like say, oh, check out my stuff on YouTube, because like, you know, your grandmother knows, oh, YouTube's a video site. But if you say check out my stuff on Newgrounds, you're like, what if they go there and see something horrible and they think I'm horrible? And I think that's something that hurts us in terms of like promotion and, you know, the willingness of mainstream sources to talk about us. But yeah, I don't know. It would be nice. It'd be nice if we got more promotion. Figure it out. That's another thing we need to figure out, how to get people to promote it better. But yeah. I'd say it definitely welcomed more of that type of content. So, you know, people look to a site as like sort of like a roadmap of like what the expectations are for what's popular there. So in the early days when it was like just like a bunch of violent, angsty teen content, like that was sort of creating the roadmap for other people to, you know, submit angsty teen content. And so yeah, that definitely did shape things there. And yeah, now it's just it's a part of it. Yeah, that is how I always saw him, and it's weird because it's like he still is sort of like a mascot of the site, but it's also like so many people don't know who he is that it feels awkward now. So I've been sort of like burying him more and more too. Pico Day is still a thing, but it's like Pico Day changed to be more of like you can make something about anything on Newgrounds. It shouldn't just be like a Pico movie. And I've like for the past few years I keep like dabbling with changing it to Newgrounds Day or something. But you know, then people like that it's like Pico Day. But I don't know. I'm so like on the fence with all of it nowadays. But yeah, he's still there. And then we also have the Tank Man. You know, the Tank Man's like the other mascot. Man. Yeah. And he's a more he doesn't carry as much baggage with him, so that's good.
No, he was saying the Tank Man from your Chode thing.
What about it?
That they were good.
Oh, thank you. I didn't write my friend Lyle McDouchebag wrote the Tank Man. Actually, true story. I took, I'll just tell this real quick. I took the club story of the club cartoon I had distaste for, and I parodied it. And then Lyle had this fucking elaborate story about how the Tankmen were trying to survive from like the new meme culture, and it was really good, and it was like really well. It was like some fucking Metal Gear thing, like some like elaborate story, and he used like a bunch of like really symbolic music, and it just felt like an action movie piled on with all the nonsense you would see in a Newground Flash. That's kind of what we were going for.
Of course.
Do you know why? Do you know why? There was actually a reason for that. The real reason why I did that was because I'm sorry. The real reason why I did that was I could have had Viper or Chun-Li like fucking, but instead like I ran out of stuff and I didn't feel like drawing anything, and then I was like, well, I did this as a parody at some point, and I needed to transfer a Hulu style into mine, so I was like, yeah, this makes sense. Just to ruin everything, like the mood and everything. I'm sorry, Lyle.
As far as time.
So we are over right now, but I don't know if there's another panel. I don't know if you guys want to do more questions a little bit longer, or should we?
Or if we're boring as shit, just.
Man, I'm.
Okay.
Huh? You want me to slap people? Is that what you said? I thought you said move around and slap people.
Well, we could like, yeah, we could just come down and like talk to you guys and stuff.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so we could wrap it up there. Yeah. So just come up and talk to us. And
Thank you guys for coming to the Newgrounds 20 years in the making.
The Newgrounds 20th anniversary Christmas special. And
Here's to 20 more up your butt.